Hello and welcome to the Tech Lunch Podcast, where we encourage our listeners to learn something new about tech every week. This can range from learning about new and exciting applications to the advancements in coding and technology. If you are always learning, you will always be a step above the rest. Take the time during lunch or during a break to listen and learn, kind of like a lunch and learn, but for the ears. This podcast will open the listeners' ears to new and exciting technologies they may have not been purviewed to in the past. These topics will range from manufacturing technologies to data collection technologies and everything in between. Hello, I'm Nick.
Hey, I'm John.
And, this week we don't have Ed because, we just got done with the holiday season and going into New Year's and stuff like that. And, he spent time with family. So we'll give him a pass. I think he deserves a pass on this one.
Everybody needs time with family.
Yeah, exactly. And, and this week it is, New Year's week. New Year's is in a couple days. When this comes out, it'll be, 2 days till? So,
yeah.
So that leads us to an episode that me and Ed did about a year ago next week. And we did a short on it, so we did a snack episode on it. And we called it New Year, New Tech Resolutions. Because we do enjoy talking about, tech and 3D printing and, education and all the other, fun mumbo jumbo that we got going on around here.
Yeah.
So, I figured we'll resurrect this and we'll do it again. We're going to try to make this a yearly type of event and, kind of see where we're at. I think then we'll start doing a recap at the end of the year.
See what your progress is. Right?
See if we made it. Maybe even at the 6 month mark, we'll kind of see where we're at along the way. This isn't like, oh, look, I dropped 10 pounds. No, it's not that type of resolution. Can be. Believe me, I need to. But, it is what it is. So, this week, it's going to be, New Year, new tech resolutions. So, John, when you hear that, what are you thinking?
Yeah, my head goes in a million different directions. First off, I think I'm there with you. I understand wanting to lose a pound or two. It's trying to be a little bit lighter. I saw some pictures of myself when I was younger. I went home and saw family too, and I was like, oh man, I'm chubby. so yeah, no, I understand that. But everybody wants to be healthy. Now, when we're talking tech, though, that can also be part of.
Yeah. Anything you learn,
one of those things.
Brain workout.
So yeah. I mean, not even just that though. Like you think about now. I'm no doctor, so I want to preface this right. But and I think that you're a different breed, by the way, because you don't get a lot of sleep. But when we're talking about feeling better or healthy and things like that, knowing your like sleep rhythm, you're getting your REM cycles and things like that. There's tech that actually there's apps and stuff like that tracks that for you.
There's one that can tell when you're snoring, which for some of us,
yep,
that might be a little bit much.
Your newest Apple Watch is like counting your heartbeat, telling you if you're healthy. You're making sure you're exercising. So there's stuff that we could use for that. Now I'm gonna juxtapose that with the fact that that's not unfortunately at the forefront of my mind when I'm thinking New Year, new tech resolutions. So I can kind of take this in a few different levels. So the first level I'm going to start out with is tech that maybe I would like to,
bring it out wherever you want
do. Then going in, and I can kind of throw a question to you towards the end of it, and I'll get there when I get there. But if I'm thinking about what I would like to do, there's a few projects that come to mind. Number one, of course, it's always going to have to do with 3D printing. We're already right now actively in the works of building 2 types of Vorons, and honestly kind of got a bit of the itch off of that one, so I want to get the bigger one now. So it's one of those things, right? Yeah, right. Well, the small one, it came in such a small box, and I was like, everything fits so nice and neat. It's so like petite. I want this because you don't even realize how many small pieces. You don't need gigantic, and bigger isn't always better.
Yeah.
Like my print probably it won't do a full bed size like an Ender bed size, but I can print all those pieces maybe a little bit longer. Actually, probably closer to the same time.
Bring it to work, start print a bunch of benchies.
More quality, man. I just think I just think it's good.
5-second benchy.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know about 5-second benchy because that's just gonna be a block of plastic.
And do it in nylon.
But yeah, nylon. But yeah, no. When I'm thinking into the next year, I'm thinking about using 3D printing into my other projects. So let's say this upcoming year, I mean, I would like to have a home, or I'm gonna need to leave soon, or go into another. I want to go into a more permanent,
makes sense.
Place, and in that sense, using 3D printing to help me build furniture, shelving. The racks that are going to hold my 3D printer are going to be 3D printed mostly. I mean, of course, I'm going to have wood and things like that to support in the structure. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be using the 3D printers to help build out my life on utility side. But then we can go into the tech side. There's a thing that's kind of been on my mind for a few years now. It's the smart mirror. I know a lot of people have done smart mirrors, but I'm not trying to go to Peloton and say I want your smart mirror. I don't even think they have smart mirrors.
It's one of the companies do. Yeah.
One of the fitness companies does, and
it's
they attach some type of pulley, which adds some weight. Which, by the way, was a great idea. I understand.
Yeah. Resistance training helps.
Yeah, resistance training. I mean, why do you think Bowflex was so popular?
Still
and
is.
You're adding tech to it, so that could be a New Year's resolution for you. However, I'm going in just a purely the decorative or informative way. I want a smart mirror. I want kind of if you had a display on a screen somewhere that's just kind of showing you hey, here's the weather for this week, stock ticker, right? Yeah. Or here's the date. Here's birthdays or important dates to remember, things like that. You can add on there. But I'm thinking about it as a smart mirror so that I can use it on the way out. I can see all of my updates, my to-do things. Hey, you're running low on this. You should pick up eggs on the way home. Stuff like that. All on my, everything in one place.
So you're going to nickname it Mirror Mirror?
Mirror on the wall. Yeah, that'd be a nice one.
Little bit of Snow White.
Yeah, it's amazing because I have 6 or 7 whiteboards in my place. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to
a giant one.
Exactly, and it's gonna just now all be one, and then I can and everything's interconnected, right? You got the one network, so I have a tablet. Why can't I use my phone? We look at Samsung smart things.
That's what I got here in the house.
Yeah, you can, if you have one of those cool tablet fridges, you can throw Post-its up there. You can add drawings and stuff like that. So that's one of those things. Now I don't want to go buy one. I would like to build my own, and I would like to use 3D printing to assist in that kind of process. Makes sense. When that's one of the things that I've kind of had forefront in my mind. Of course, I still last year we talked about robotics and stuff. I still have pieces of the robot arm that I've built. I'm not going to forget about that, but the smart mirror is one of the big projects that I'd like to do, because I can not only take that and it's portable. It's gonna be something that I can make, maybe as gifts for the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and if I do it right, maybe even,
depending on the size,
make some money for myself off of it. But that's a project, that's a resolution, it's a challenge, right? Yeah. That's the first way I wanted to do it, but it's one of those things that I've been thinking about a lot, and I think would be useful, because I ask all the time when I wake up. It's hey Google, good morning. You say that, and it's here's your sorry if I started anyone's Google, but it tells you your weather. It tells you temperature, gives you some news articles. You can set it up with some specific cards. So you're hey, I want to know this specific stock. I want to know about this crypto. I want to know about this this specific maybe website. You can get that information off of there. And why can't that just populate on the screen?
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I use Alexa, so.
It's that smart home.
It's just easier, I got it on tablets on the wall in the house.
Yeah, so. I mean that's one of the main ones. Now it's not the only one that I would like to do, but it's one of the main ones that kind of are forefront in my mind most days. I would like to do something like that. But that's just one of the layers that, I was talking about breaking this down. If you were thinking about a project that you want to do, what would you say?
Ooh, there's a couple. This year, I definitely want to take the route of using my 3D printers to kind of have a little bit of fun. And one of those things that I've been eyeing for shit. I think 6 months now, 7 months now.
Yeah.
I gotta reorganize my garage for that matter for this to work because I want to make a 6 foot by 6 foot CNC router.
Oh wow!
Using 3D printed parts and using a high speed spindle.
Okay.
To build out this system. So it's that using my 3D printer for that. That's kind of the big project I think, or will be a big project for this year. We'll be working through that, trying to get that working. Kind of expanding more into the realm of the lithophane thing. Kind of digging down into that world a little bit. First and foremost, got to get this moron running. So
you're pretty close.
That'll be the first New Year's resolution because it'll be done by Monday.
You're close. You're close. You're close. Yeah, I think mine finishes early in the year, so yeah, I guess that counts too.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, I look at it, especially like projects and stuff like that, and this year with a big step coming in my educational journey, starting this year, it's going to be, stuff to relax with at this point.
Have you announced that here yet?
No, I have not.
I mean, well, you don't have to.
No, it'll probably be later when we start following up more on it.
No, you're fine.
It'll be
more
during this episode.
Later. Yeah,
it'll be on this episode.
Okay.
And the thing is with that, we'll do some YouTube videos on that too. Kind of documenting the journey, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Why not? And we'll document the journey on the CNC router. And
that would be a cool build.
We might want to try to document the build on the smart mirror.
Yeah.
And kind of see where we go. But it's like, there's so many other like random projects I want to get done. Like for example, soon I'm going to be, trading my truck in and getting a Jeep Gladiator. So I want to be able to, set the printers up to print in like a nylon or an ABS and stuff like that. Stuff that I can use for that Jeep.
You're thinking car parts then. Nice.
So like mounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How am I mounting half the stuff I got to bring with me?
Yeah, it's got to be durable.
Right. So why not be able to see if I can't engineer shock absorption into the print itself?
Yeah. Maybe some TPU.
With a little bit of rubber, TPU, or whatever in there. Kind of play with it.
It'd be fun.
With that and, kind of... I guess you'd say there's a lot of tinkering, for this upcoming year if I can afford it.
There's the key.
Or have the time to afford it. It's that getting kind of I guess you'd say then you're getting into like skills. It's also we want to rebuild our competition cooker this year.
Okay.
So we'll be rebuilding that process and trying to make our entire competition cooker out of stainless steel.
No.
So we'll be pulling out the welders for that and stuff like that this year too. So, kind of getting down and dirty in that process.
Yeah, I have no doubt that at some point, though, we might need a 3D print handle.
Yeah, as long as it can handle the heat.
As long as it can take the heat, yeah. That's the thing.
That's the thing is, heat dissipation at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
TPU, you could put over the handle so when you lift it up, it's not as hot. However, it's still going to melt.
Probably going to melt. Yeah, it's probably going to melt.
We built our handle on our current rig out of 2 eyelets and a wooden dowel.
Okay.
Pounded wooden dowel through the side of it, stained it, and it's done. We also built our entire grill out of 55-gallon drums.
Yeah, maybe there's something that we can figure out, like, because we looked at a few things with Adidas, and I can't remember the company's name. Was it that made their soles? It started with an E or something like that. I'm not sure. We'll circle around to that, but it's something that like they 3D printed the soles, the Adidas 4D Forward, so that it had a heat treat and it had like a cure. So I don't know, maybe something like that. Maybe a different type of print.
Maybe, and the thing is the other thing that we got going. I've already built the prototype for it and I'm gonna finish it. is we have on our grill, we have a hard time controlling some of our airflow. We don't have enough airflow. South Carolina is not known for being very windy. So we built our own fan control system that I plug it in. It cranks on a, I think it's a 50-50 size desktop cooling fan.
That's not that big.
So we use the good size ones.
Well, I mean, it's probably gonna fit. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so we use the big tower PC ones to force airflow. But I want to be able to do with a thermistor that tells me if the temperature gets too low, go ahead and trigger the fan to turn on by using a microcontroller, kind of like a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino Uno.
Oh, okay. You can have like little switches and things like that, sensors.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool too.
So
there you go.
Yeah. But that's some things. But the thing is when New Year's and new tech resolutions, what new piece of tech this year do you want to play with?
That was going to be the next level. Like, exactly. It's like, I'm thinking about what I want to make or maybe what I want to play with. I've had my eyes, honestly, this is a tough one because it could go either way. First off, I don't want to just throw money at something that I'm not going to really use that often, right?
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about drones quite a bit. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I saw Avatar and it's pretty visually striking. So like the getting drone shots and things like that, I've been seeing a lot of them in YouTube videos. It's kind of hard for me to miss. I think that I kind of want one. I'm not trying to just purely build one. If I have time, I can build one. But that's why I would say that's something I want to play with. I want to get
like a DJI.
Yeah, something small that I can kind of attach a GoPro to, or attach even like an old phone that I have.
Well, the thing is most of the DJIs already have cameras on board.
Oh, okay. Well, that works better. And then just have something that kind of records like maybe a landscape. It's not, and I'm not trying to just like record movies or anything like that, but it's just like little home videos or little stuff like that, because it's something that's, I don't know, it's pretty cool. And
now I've been wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And with that, it's if I'm going to use it for like YouTube or whatever like that.
Yeah.
You have to go get Part 141 certified.
Oh, because you have to
license to be able to license drone pilot to register the drone and be a licensed drone pilot to make money off of the use of the drone.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that's something to always remember if you're going to go that route, which I'm already been looking into the test. Is you got to get used to that process. Once you get that done, you're good. Then you can make money off of what you're using the drone for.
Then we could drone race.
I know people who've done that.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a cool idea. I mean,
work with somebody who's do that.
It's really cool. But no, yeah, that's a piece of tech I wouldn't mind, getting my hands on. Kind of, I guess not putting it through its paces, but like recording some things. But like eventually, maybe. I mean, honestly, with anything that we try, if we like it enough, we want to make it more of a passion. So it could grow, but. I'm thinking that we both have the ability, if we get a drone, in a lot of cases, depending on what type of drone it is, we could print replacement parts too. Yeah. So we it would just fit right in with the rest of the things that I have. That like it just makes sense to me.
It's just slightly less janky.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't tell you which drone I got yet. It's the off-brand. Listen. The orange Pi works fine, okay?
It's JDI.
Just as good as a Raspberry.
It's a JDI instead of a DJI.
Hey, it doesn't have to be the best. It just has to work. Listen, we're like it's not a race yet. But no, yeah. What about you? What tech would you want to?
I really this year I really want to get more because dealing with. Like the launches and stuff like that. To go down to the space launches and stuff like that. It's getting more into quicker exposure cameras. It's like I have the Samsung.
I
have the Sony camera that I use now.
Yeah.
And it's getting into the different lenses and getting into the different types of control. Setting it up to do that type of stuff. On exposure type of thing. Getting into those bigger lenses. However, they are a dime a dozen. They're very expensive to get into. So, but, like drones, for example, would love to get into that. More photography stuff. Something to relax with.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess that goes hand in hand. The drones and the camera. You're gonna have to learn some geometry.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is depending on how far into the DJI lineup you go, it's like you start talking about gimbals and stuff like that. You know, hang the camera off the gimbal from the thing. Now you're dealing in commercial rated drones. You're really dealing in weight class limitations that you now have to register with the FAA. If you use a smaller version, then you don't have to register as long as under a certain weight percentage. I think it's like 220 grams or something like that. So the baby one from DJI, the thing is the DJI Maverick.
Yeah, I think the Maverick is the one that sold at Best Buy for some. I can't remember how much it was.
It's like 600 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They got a couple versions of it. I think there was like 3 tiers of it.
Yeah, DJI is one of those companies that's, you know, I've flown a couple of the DJI drones before. Yeah, and they're great. I mean, they're absolutely awesome. Yeah. You can fly them off your cell phone.
It's impressive.
If you felt like it, you can fly it off a tablet. Most people, the thing is, like with 3D printers, for instance, like we talked about earlier, is they 3D print the tablet holder for the remote control.
No, that makes sense
because it acts as your screen. Instead of having to buy another $300 screen to go with it.
Yeah.
You already have it, you know, attached to it. You know, and that's kind of, you know, I think that, you know, new tech coming out this year. The thing is, you know, with, you know, the pandemic that we just went through, not really a pandemic, but chip shortage, we'll call it. It's a pandemic for tech people.
Part
shortage is, you know, you're kind of kicking yourself in the butt because not a lot of new stuff came out this year, you know, or is it being announced for next year?
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of deal with what you got, and, you know, it's like the new Raspberry Pi stuff coming out. We're finally going to see more Raspberry Pi sitting in the streets. So
yeah, that'd be nice. And I'm pretty sure, don't they have another version that they're about to come out with soon? 4B or something 4B. Like that. Yeah.
But it's like I would also, honestly, if I can get my hands on one, I already have a PLC here at the house.
Yeah.
Is I'd like to get into the industrial Raspberry Pis and see what I could do with an industrial Raspberry Pi in like a Voron setting.
Oh, okay.
Instead of having everything go through the Octopus.
Yeah.
Have it all go through a Raspberry Pi running Clipper of some sort.
Yeah, take away. Yeah, because the Octopus is a nice CPU. It's got a lot of power because you need it for the motors, the extra motors. But do you really need it, or is it like?
Yeah, a little overkill, but.
Yeah, or is it like one of the things that's like making it easier for you to assemble?
Yeah.
Like a convenience thing rather than a.
Than a want or desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And you know that for me is, you know, I think my big takeaway points.
Something that you want to try, yeah.
For this year. Now, you know, the thing is, you know, there's always something that comes along when we start talking about, you know, like a New Year's new tech resolution is the fact that you got to learn something.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, what are you trying to kind of dive into as far as on the on the educational side of the house or the learning side of the house that you're trying to play with?
So first off, I think I don't know if we mentioned it very often, but I still am very, very interested in doing the Penn State World Campus Masters in Additive Manufacturing. I think that not only will it add value, I think that it would just be fun to do, and it would be nice to have that as part of, you know, just the knowledge in the class itself. Being, I want to grow into metal 3D printing, so it just makes sense. Like it's just another step in that process. But so that's one of the main things that I would like to do. Now, if I'm thinking about learning like a specific either like skill or something like that, I kind of want to build on some scripting knowledge or getting comfortable in Python. I know that I've talked with, you know, quite a few people about coding and things like that, and everybody, it's very daunting, sounds like, whenever you're like, hey, what should I start with? Should it be C++? Should I start in Python? What should I start coding in? But now that I've kind of been working with a few of those things, I kind of want to do Python.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Now, it wouldn't hurt to know all of it, but Python seems to be, I mean, it's what Clipper uses. It's Kiowa is something to use to install Clipper and all those interfaces. Like, it's so many times I hear someone say, I just wrote a Python script and it does this crazy thing on the Raspberry Pi. I want to be able to do that, and honestly, that's kind of works with the mirror, because it's going to need a Pi. It's going to need something like that. It's going to need some type of computer or some type of desktop interface. So
goes hand in hand with AI too.
Yeah. That's another thing. Now, I also, and not to kind of throw another piece in there too, but I have a friend who actually bought VR goggles, and actually, I don't know how I stayed away from trying them for so long, but this past year was one of the first times I put on, like, I don't want to say an actual pair. I want to say a pair that's not the Samsung 8 slid into a screen, right? Slid into some goggles. Like an actually dedicated, like, Oculus or something to those standards. And I was actually blown away by it's definitely not the most most realistic graphics, but the movement feels natural. Like when I'm watching, and it definitely understands, and a lot of that, like that's fascinating to me. So like maybe learning a little bit more about VR. Everything's getting more digital. I know we're kind of rejecting the second world or metaverse, Second Life or whatever, but like it doesn't have to just be that. I mean, you can experience like a great view Mount Fuji just with VR, right?
Yeah,
like
it's like a flight.
It can take you and give you a little bit, not the full experience, but it's cool.
Now here's the funny part with that, with the VR, is you can actually take your VR and tie it to a drone. Because right now...
Oh, you'd be inside the drone?
Well, DJI actually has the FMV drones now.
Yeah.
That you fly via a set of VR glasses.
Is that not what they're already doing with drone racing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
it's FMV.
So. Okay.
So they went and took a picture camera drone that they used for like filmmaking and did FMV controls to it.
Man, that's got to be like, those things are moving so fast. That's got to be so overwhelming.
I don't mind, VR. I really don't. Believe me. Yeah. I still have one of the original Nintendo.
There you go.
Is it Nintendo or was it? Yeah, it was Nintendo. Remember the original Nintendo VR headset?
The only thing I remember from Nintendo is they tried to do something with the Switch where you had cardboard and you could make goggles, and you could make designs in game with cardboard.
The Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy.
I actually have one of those down at my parents' house that I'm going to bring back up here next time I go home.
This thing is massive.
Yep. And I'm going to print new legs for it too. So
looks like the top of a push lawnmower. This is crazy.
The thing is like you get like Wonder World. Okay. Like that's probably the best game you can get is Wonder World. Shows how old that is.
It was Nintendo, 1995. Oh wow.
Yeah, I bought it from. And the funny thing is I bought it from Blockbuster.
I ain't gonna find one of them anymore.
There's one left.
There's only one. No, they made a show about that. Okay, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. But the thing is like VR
Rip
stuff.
Blockbuster.
Yeah. Like I don't mind VR. I just don't want self-induced nausea.
That's true. That's something. No. You make a good point. So without giving away, the plot of Avatar 2, and I just want to say, so James Cameron he's an innovator.
Yeah.
He drives and expects perfection. There's a reason it took this long. Yeah, pandemic, blah 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 blah. They've pushed CGI so far that it feels realistic, but there were so many things in that movie that are near future for us. Mm-hmm. So it has nothing to do with the plot, but like worker drone bots, kind of like an AGV. Give it legs, let it go into the station and do the job. Put the torque gun on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so give it the torque gun is its arm. So literally all it has to do is torque this bolt or weld this spot over and over. It's the robots that we have out there, but they gave them legs and they're
like
building
a helping hand bot.
Yeah, and then not only that is that's they did what we talked about, what Ed has mentioned before, is that like you are the quality auditor now, and you're making sure these things are building the things appropriately. But also on that same coin is it's not only in decreasing the load on the worker, it's increasing the speed of production.
Yeah, and if you think about it with that type of stuff, if you got a drone, if you got a robot that's even just on an AGV, on a wheeled AGV, but those AGVs you got 5 axis. Yeah. You know, if you put we're getting
you're
well
talking
on
about
topic.
the cuckoo one, yeah.
But the thing is well, you replace the end cap, because you can replace it with a torque gun, so it's automatic permanent.
Yeah.
But the thing is you can set it to where it uses AI, it uses machine learning or machine vision to see the bolts and see which bolts has to be torqued. Yeah. And it uses that to guide the gun onto the torque gun and torque it to how many revolutions a second that it requires,
which is just impressive. And I mean, there's a few more things that they like added in there too. The other things I kind of would give away a bit of the plot, so I'm not going to kind of go into them. They all have to do with kind of some type of terraforming, but at the end of the day, that kind of brings me to my next I guess question, or next topic. I wanted to kind of actually no, you go. I was about to skip you. No, what do you learn? What do you learn, or what is your resolution to learn this year?
I definitely want to get more into more into Python. I think a little bit deeper into the weeds, deeper into the world of machine learning. Yeah. Quantitative type of analysis when you're talking about, like, if I take a small 3D printer and I stick it in a freaking vacuum chamber, what happens? Now do I have a big oops, or what's going on?
Or is it more control?
Right, because that'd be interesting. But and the thing is getting into AI and like the cloud stuff, cloud-based stuff, and I guess with that, the cat's out of the bag. Starting this year in May, I will begin the Doctor of Technology program through Purdue University, online. So we'll be going through the Purdue Graduate School for the DFT program that they've got. So who knows, what that's going to entail. Looking at the syllabus and stuff like that, it's going to be a royal pain. Yeah. But the payoff, I think, in the end is worth it.
They didn't say it would be easy, did they?
No, but it's going to take the entrepreneur spirit and freaking send it sky high, because it gives you a little bit more cred. Stuff you can go sit in an office meeting with somebody and just talk about shit. Yeah. Stuff like that. But that's that's a long-term goal, is to take the the LLC that I do have and kind of run with it and kind of see where it goes, because I think if it gets feet, it can keep moving. So but that's what this year is. This year is starting that journey. We'll actually record some of that. We'll get into that. Kind of do some status updates throughout the year. After we start, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So, and we'll be, so you don't really see a lot of people record their journey through either a DOT project, the Doctor of Technology program, or, Penn State's additive manufacturing program, which, I will say this, I am an alumni of Penn State. I've done my bachelor's and master's degree there, and going to Purdue, because they do have the Doctor of Technology program. Right. So, I can't say, anything bad about either or. So, but follow along with what they got. Kind of get a first-hand account. Get more people interested in it. And I think that's another thing I want to kind of learn this year and kind of get into, is a little bit of technology advocacy. Yeah. Get people more interested in things. Get some of y'all more interested in some of the stuff that we're working with. Having some fun with it. Kind of getting more out there on the YouTube stuff. Learning more about video editing and stuff like that, and really getting out there and pushing the boundaries of what is STEM education, what is the pushing the entrepreneurial mindset of of where we can go with 3D printers, or even with tech for that matter. But the big thing is if we can get one more person interested in the 3D printer, just through that, then we're onto something. Or if we can give one 3D printer away to a school that needs it, then, we've done something right. If I can give away one printer and 10 spools of filament, guess what? We've done something good.
You get someone up and running, and you spark a passion.
Right.
Well, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's nice. I have not gotten the approval, so that's just something I want to do. So we'll see if that. Fingers crossed. But
just apply for it.
Yeah,
You got the summer.
How long we've been additive manufacturing over here? So I think that it just would make sense. But yeah, we almost skipped that, man. Almost kind of didn't go over that slide. Piece. Yeah, you weren't even gonna say anything.
Yeah, right. Sometimes I don't like bragging.
No, that's fair. Very humble, very humble. But so back to what I was the question I was going to ask, I guess, is so first off we started with some projects that we want to do.
Yep.
Then we went into what was it? Some things we want to kind of play with, or some new tech that we would kind of get our hands on. And then we talked about learning or what we want to go in the tech world going into the future this next year. The next one, and depending on where we're at with the time, could be final, but we could have another, is tech breakthroughs like on the bleeding edge that you've seen, like maybe some scientists. I have one immediately in my mind that like I have notifications set up on my Google to tell me when things are like official or when things go through, and I read scientific articles on it. But it's one of those things that like I've kind of trying to keep track of because I think that it's a pivotal moment in human history. And that to me is nuclear fusion, fusing the atoms, doing what our sun does to make that jump in energy that we can create is, to me, going to inevitably expand our reach to planets we've never thought that we could reach. And no, it's not going to be instantaneous, but that's something that I would like to see. Now, if we're talking about something I would like to see this year, because we know recently they what was it?
Well, they've already done the fission thing once. It's just 1,000 Kelvin. They can't control it.
Well, yeah. So number one can't control it. They were successful in producing more energy than they input. Yeah. However, that doesn't mean it was a perfect system. That doesn't mean it didn't take a lot of work to get the lasers to submit that. But whatever energy the laser sent in, more was received out. So that is a success by any standard. But at the end of the day, if I'm talking about something that I would like to see achievable in this next year, I think that they can push that Artemis flight.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think they can get, judging by how successful and how smooth they got the last Artemis flight. Oh, that thing lit up the sky. It was it made nighttime day. It was amazing. Yeah. And I think that showed they can put humans in there, do the same in orbit, and it'll work. I don't think they need to wait till 2024 unless the ship isn't ready, of course. Those tests fail, of course. But I think that with the math and science that they've done, they can do that this year. So that's one of the things. I know it's kind of space focused. We kind of talk about space a lot here, but those are things that are interesting to me. Things I like to see. But what about you? What do you think? I know you're interested in those same things.
I would honestly like to see this year the orbital test flight of Starship.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
Finally,
yeah. What about? I didn't even mention. What's the other one? Rocket Labs does.
Rocket Lab is up in Virginia. But I'd love to see the orbital test flight because the thing is if we get an orbital test flight completion, good to go, check off ride for Starship, we're on the way to the moon.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that they can go land the darn thing on the moon twice, and then we put humans in it, and then we repeat the process. Yeah. The Dear Moon mission coming up, where you'll see the everyday astronaut on YouTube circumvent the moon.
That's pretty cool.
And it comes back. So, but The other one that we were talking about is relativity space.
That's it.
That is what I'm. That is
Terra
probably 1? With Terra, yeah, Terran 1, and them going up with Terran R, is watching what happens. That is do I think it's going to be an utter failure? No, but anything's possible. I think that they've tested this rocket to the point that they cannot test any further without going orbital.
They've done full rockets.
They've done full duration test burns at the pad. They've it's been sitting on the pad now for a week and a half now, almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
Down there, launch complex 33 or 34 Alpha. But it's a first all 3D printed rocket, and we're gonna see if the thing is if spiral welding can hold when it hits max Q. My thing is are we going to see a layer shift at max Q? I know it's welded. The thing is welds still fail.
I would not be surprised.
Because what happens if you have air and welds? Air expands at max Q. Yeah. Could you see something that just goes completely ape? Probably not. However, I hope for a successful test flight, a full duration test burn. I would love to see that thing go off because I think that is our next step. It's like what I'd like to see a little bit more, change in right now is the fact that there's people out there that are using nuclear waste to make diamonds for lithium-ion batteries. So they're using nuclear waste to make EV batteries.
Oh wow!
We're charging.
But how big a battery?
They fit in the bottom like a Prius.
Oh wow! Okay.
So there's people out there, innovating that stuff right now. I would like to see where it goes. To be honest with you, because the thing is, if you talk about this right now, the big issue with, besides the fact that you're pretty much nuclear poisoning somebody.
Yeah, no, I'm wearing my radiation suit when I drive.
However, the thing is now you're not dealing with range issues. EVs have a traditional range problem.
Yeah.
So, if somebody can come up and, make, take nuclear waste and turn it into a diamond, they've already done it, which has no nuclear radiation symptoms off of it. It just gives you straight power. Okay. Then you're going to see your range go from nothing to everything. And the thing is, if you think about it, and this kind of leads me back to what you mentioned, Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab runs their rockets off of batteries. If you stick a nuclear powered battery on board that rocket, the only thing holding you back is fuel.
Yeah,
to spin the turbo pumps.
Yeah. Well, see, and there's so many problems that all these companies are kind of seeking to fix, but that brings me into whenever I was talking about the fusion being able to solve a lot of our problems. That nuclear, in and of itself, is a way to create more energy, and if we can create more energy with less mass, we can get further. It's just how the equation works.
Now, here's the thing: we've all seen things come and go and die, and things are coming back.
Yeah.
What are you wanting to see come back in the tech world?
Oh man.
Or this year, that you've heard rumors of coming back.
Well, I wouldn't say come back, but maybe come back and kind of augmented, right? It's already kind of started happening. The 3D scanning, scanners and things like that are they didn't really die, but they kind of got roped into the printer, right?
Yeah, or roped into the cell phone.
Yeah, or into the cell phone. There are a few apps, I use Cam Scanner, and it scans my documents, and it does make it does a great job of making it straight if it's a folded document. But no, yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe even accelerated a bit, and that's they added more cameras, and now the emergence of 4K and LiDAR and things like that. You're getting better angles in lower light settings and things like that. So that's something I like. Wow, what else has died that I would like to come back? Oh man, do you see? Now I guess there are still kind of radio flyers around and things like that.
It's like turn one on a car.
Yeah, we looked. You said what now?
Somebody turned one into a car.
Oh, I thought you said someone drove one into your car. They turned a radio flyer like a.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There's no way.
They did it with a big wheel too.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I guess I'm in a good place. A lot of the things that I've really had interest in has already kind of they've blossomed or are kind of, getting different iterations of them. Like, I mean, I love a computer. There's quantum computing is becoming very popular now, and not only that, quantum computing engineers are able to start creating type of wormhole and play with space-time and things like that, which we've never been able to do before. So I think that's like something I'd like to see. That's crazy. It's a giant red wagon.
Yep, radio flyer.
It looks.
Somebody takes kids and everybody on a roll ride in it. It's awesome.
It's the size. It's perfect.
It's the size of a bus.
Is it really? That's a bus size.
Pretty much.
That's perfect. That's crazy. I really hope that you don't use that to drive the handle at the front, because that would be so bad. But no, that's impressive. Yeah, if you guys, it's really just a giant red wagon. They hide it. They hide the engine very well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, that's I know that fuel cars and combustion cars and things like that are not going to completely go away. But I think that we're going to see a reemergence of them.
Yeah.
I think we are going to see the emergence of the lithium battery swaps for the engine swaps.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of already videos of those things, and people are going to probably do that.
I see people doing the muscle cars now too.
Yeah, I would.
Which is okay. That brings them back.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. You want to see an old. You want to what's it?
I don't want to see a Chevelle with an electric motor. Sorry, just not. No, sorry.
You don't want an old 70s Nova with a...
I'd rather hear the motor, not whine.
Yeah, no, it's silent when it comes by.
if it's whining, it better be a supercharger.
Is that American Muscle? I don't know, I can't hear it.
Right. Sound generator out the back.
Yeah, right. Like you just got speakers on the outside making the sound. Now, what about you, man? What do you have in mind? Something that died that came back.
Astra.
Okay, that seems to hit close to home. That seems to be
Astra Aerospace, man. I'm telling you something.
Was that the pop-up launches?
Yeah, the one that went sideways coming off the rocket pad. Yeah.
Oh man.
The one that filed for Chapter 12.
We just call them sidewinders.
Yeah, we tried that.
They didn't like that.
The thing is, well, they made orbit once. They didn't stay there.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, they filed for bankruptcy, complete bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Fell out of everything. Right. Stock tanked. I mean, tanked.
It's tough.
It's still tanked, but the thing is they started building and getting known for their orbital engines. Mm-hmm. On board their orbital engines, right? So they've got a lot of contracts based on orbital spaceflight, stuff like that, repositioning motors and stuff like that. I think some of them actually were on Orion.
Oh, but really? Okay, that's cool.
They came out and said that they're building their new rocket. They're going to redo it. They scrapped every other rocket design they had from day one, motor design, everything. Scrapped it back to sheet steel and started over again.
Still aiming at small sat launch?
They're still aiming at the small, the toaster size or suitcase size small sat launch.
1 kilogram, 2 kilograms, something
right.
like that. Yeah.
Nothing like SpaceX size or anything like that. Mm-mm. And the thing is I'm kind of interested to see where tablet computing is now these days.
Oh wow, yeah, that's actually incredible because when I watched the Orion and a few of the launches before that, noticing the tablets on the thigh there, yeah. And knowing what LG's been doing with the OLED screens and getting those the bendable wallpaper screens that's smart wallpaper, yeah. Right? That's crazy to think about. Something is so we buy it and we put it up all the time, but what if that were digitized? What if it was a digitizer or an LCD screen? That's incredible, and if you don't know about it, LG's doing it. I mean, yep. If you saw the OLEDs that they put out, that screen is the thickness of 2 credit cards. That's incredible.
Liquid crystal, man. It's where it's going. It's where we've been. The thing is, it's the thing is, you think about it. You got all these rockets of the future being controlled by a tablet.
Yeah.
Handheld, hand flying off a tablet, off a touchscreen.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that your phone is more advanced than anything they used to get onto the moon, because that is not easy.
Hell, a flip phone has more power in it than freaking...
Absolutely ridiculous.
Than the entire Apollo rocket.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Like, I applaud all those people, because that is just... First off, I'm not getting in that thing. It says a metal tube. That's the same reason I don't get in the submarine.
It's the jalopy of the skies, man. Jalopy of the skies. I'll get you there.
Yeah, but
they'll get you back fast.
Impressive, yeah. I mean, you just reminded me, by the way. There was a piece that you were talking about, and something that I would like to kind of add a point to is with the Terran 1.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I'm curious about, because that is a fantastic idea, because I think that space stations are going to be 3D printed in the future. I think that it's inevitable, because number one,
I think it's capital modules on the surface though. Yeah. For 3D printed. Yeah. I'm
thinking how will this 3D printed rocket survive re-entry?
It's not coming back.
It's not. It's a one-time use.
It's a one-time shot. It's one shot. That's it.
Yeah, because for me, it's just getting satellites.
Coming back would be interesting.
Because I think that the layer shifts are going to happen much more, and I think it's just going to break apart in the sky. And I think that if we're talking about breaking up and burning and re-entry, that's a good way to do it. But also, I think that you don't have the worries that we had a while back with some of the Chinese satellites of hitting other satellites, and what it's called, it's some type of effect.
The Taglion or whatever, Taglion.
Yeah, there's some.
That just almost
There's some type of effect. It's not Doppler, but it's where all the near Earth orbit satellites are getting to a point where they're
the graveyard.
Yeah, it's getting so cluttered that they're going to inevitably hit each other.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to prevent that graveyard from growing, then having something that burns up on reentry or burns up.
Yeah, and I'd also like to see what happens when this thing does make reentry to come down in the ocean someplace.
Oh man!
Because it's a big giant metal tube that was welded together.
Yeah, they had to pressure test it though, right?
Right, but if the thing is, you're coming through 5,000 degrees. You're the thing is right now, and I know we're almost at an hour.
Oh Jesus!
Right?
Okay.
So this will be I think our last little topic here. Is the thing is you're talking about metal superheated to about 5,000 some odd degrees Kelvin coming through.
Yeah.
The atmospheric reentry that usually takes carbon fiber rockets and shreds them, right?
Yeah.
Melts them to pieces, breaks them apart, whatever. This is going to melt and turn this big hunk of steel into a giant block.
That's what I think. That is what because they had to
be a meteorite.
They had to make those panels for the shuttles. The shuttles had to have those little black squares you see all over the bottom. They kind of look like a penguin style on it.
Yeah, reentry pattern.
They needed all those because they want to survive.
But the thing is we see what happened when someone that failed.
Yeah, and also it's not going to be the only thing that saves you. You need everything else to work too.
But the thing is if we start talking about the Terran 1, Terran 1 when it comes back to be disintegrated and disposed of in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and not to be recovered again, it's going to come down as a big giant chunk.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that that's going to melt.
Why wouldn't you? But why?
It's not going to turn to liquid, and completely evaporate. It's not going to happen.
Does it change state so much that you cannot reuse that?
No,
not recyclable.
If you think about it, the only reason that the Falcon 9 comes down engine first is because that's where it's protected, because it uses the plume of the exhaust to protect the rocket itself. If it came down sideways as it's coming through atmospheric reentry, it would shred it. Okay. So, and the thing is you're using that to burn off speed. Yeah. The thing is, if you're talking about speed, it takes chunks of spacecraft and throws it around. It may disintegrate. On reentry as it's coming through.
No.
Or
I'm thinking it will though.
It's that's why I'm kind of interested to kind of see what happens with SpaceX's Starship.
The Starship.
That's going to launch and see if they're not going to do a recovery of either stage this time.
Yeah.
They'll just let it hit water, then pick it up and bring it home later.
Yeah. Clean the corrosion off later. Whatever.
Right. It's stainless steel, so it's not going to really corrode.
Not much. Okay.
But the thing is that will be the most powerful rocket ever leave the planet.
Yeah.
You know, more powerful than Artemis.
Yeah.
You know, until Artemis does something crazy and
Yeah.
you know, matches or exceeds it. But
I mean, Artemis put him on watch. Clock's ticking.
Yeah, they have to do it, and it's by contract now.
Yeah.
But you know, that's here nor there.
We kind of took it over with space talk, but
you know, but I think that's kind of where we're at.
It's one of the things. Like, I mean, we could also we do talk about needing technology to go deep under oceans because we haven't explored all those things. But that's
Mariana Trench.
If we can survive like even greater pressures or longer distances in space, there's no doubt in my mind that we can figure out or use some similar technology to get deeper into, you know, the oceans and things.
If you think about what could be buried in the bottom of Mariana Trench, you know, that we've dumped there ourselves.
Yeah.
But you know, again,
we're gonna find all those missing planes. They're just all gonna be stacked.
I know there's a SR-71 Blackbird down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
They buried it. They buried it there.
They wanted to do that?
Yeah. They didn't have a place to dispose of it when it crashed, so they buried it in the middle of Mariana
Nobody's
Trench.
getting that.
About 4,000 some odd feet deep.
You can go ahead and try.
But you know,
crush before you get there.
Right. But you know, I think that for me, that brings us to an end. You know, from my side, I want to say thank you. You know, I keep seeing the numbers of listeners increase and stuff like that. Seeing people share it's great. You know, we wouldn't be doing this without y'all. You know, we hope that y'all have a good new year. You know, go take a look at the YouTube channel. You know, leave us a couple comments in there. You know, letting us know if you want us to record that the attempt with the vacuum chamber and a 3D printer. And you know, if so, you know, let us know. So, all right, y'all. You know, thank you. You know, we appreciate y'all. We hope to hope to see y'all again. You know, we thank you from all over the world, and you know, have a happy new year. Hopefully your holidays were great. You know, I'll turn it over to John for the parting words.
I'll keep it short because we've already been long-winded. You know, thanks again everybody for listening. You know, sharing it. You know, keep it going. You know, tell people about it. Get the word out. But this is also for you guys. This is something that if you want us to do any of those things, or if you have an idea, something that we want to do. We want to bring everybody into it and let everyone experience it because we're all curious.
Yeah.
So and then also you know, especially in these holiday times, you know, enjoy family, enjoy spending time with those that you love, those people around you, because they're also going to be the ones that are celebrating your wins in tech or helping you through some things like that. So keep those people close. And you know. Once again, guys, I'll go with the challenge next year. What are you going to learn new? What tech have you, you know, used recently? Maybe you just started using it this month and it's still fresh to you. I still count that. You don't know it yet.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I still count that. I'm not a pilot until I can fly a plane without, you know, first off, without needing a co-pilot, and you know, just without being in a simulator. You know, need to do those things. But yeah, guys, we appreciate it once again. Stay tuned for the next coming up things, challenges, learn something new, tell us about it, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
All right, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the Tech at Lunch podcast, where we hope you learned something about tech during your break or during your lunchtime. If you did, please give us a follow to prevent missing future episodes. If you have any ideas or something you want to hear or learn about, please send us a show idea to podcast@vulcanara.com. Hope you have a good rest of the day and continue learning.